Welcome to Raiders on the Record, the podcast featuring Hastings High School athletics. I'm Athletic Director Trent Hansen. My colleague Tim Hanneberg and I work together to bring you the stories of Raider sports. We are thrilled to share conversations with the athletes, coaches, and alumni that represent Raider Nation. Check back weekly and be sure to share this podcast with your friends in the Raiders Network.
All right, here we are with John Teigland. John, we always start at the beginning of someone's life. So let's start at the beginning of your life and let's hear about your family growing up. Did you have any brothers or sisters? Let's hear about your mom and your dad. Did you guys always live in Hastings or did you eventually move to Hastings? Once again, let's hear about your life growing up.
So my parents are Pete and Joanne Teigland. They're both townies, lived here forever. My dad is an ironworker now, and my mom teaches. She taught here for a while. Now she teaches at Two Rivers. My brother, he graduated from Hastings in 2021, played hockey, football, and baseball. He's a huge role model of mine. I kind of thank him because he paved me a pretty good path. So I've always lived here, though. So
awesome. The next thing we always like hearing is any schools you attended here in town. And you don't have to go through every single grade, but if there's a teacher that really stuck out from each school that really had a big impact on your life, let's hear about them.
I went to Pinecrest for elementary. Then Mr. Healy was he impacted me in a lot of ways. And then I went to the middle school, and I got to say, Mr. Hoffman impacted me a lot. He kind of pushed me to be a better athlete, like at a younger age, and kind of let me see like my potential.
Right on. Right now you're at Hastings High School. Anyone that really stuck out, helping you kind of all the way up to your junior year here at Hastings High School?
Well, Cork, I'd say we're good family friends too. But he helps me with everything from hockey to school to girls to just life advice in general. And then probably you, Mr. H.
Oh yeah.
You're always pushing me and keeping my my confidence high and not letting me get down on myself.
Well, I appreciate that. The next thing we always like to hear about, John, is your sports journey growing up. So I typically stop at right around 7th or 8th grade. I always bring it up and say that's when people get a little more serious with sports that they play. So let's hear about the sports you played growing up. And once again, let's stop in 7th grade.
So I've always played hockey, baseball, and football since pretty much I could remember. Played 7th grade. I played middle school football. I think that was my second year at Pee-wees, and I think that was my 12U age for baseball. So I've always done that, and it keeps me busy, keeps me out of trouble. So
perfect. And like I said, you're in your 11th grade year right now, so you're a junior in high school. Let's kind of walk through from your 9th grade year all the way to your junior year. And I really like starting off at the fall semester or the fall season of your 9th grade year and walking through the sport you played that one, and then 9th grade winter, 9th grade spring, and just going through any accomplishments for you personal, maybe captainship, all conference, things of that nature, and then team as well. So if your team did really good or there's something that really stuck out with your team during those years and that season, let's hear about that too.
So my freshman year, I played football, just 9th grade. And then I played Bantams. Our team, we won the district title, and then played in front of the most packed the rink's probably been since in a couple of years. We played regions there. That was really cool. Buddy of mine, Alex Gallagher, scored a big goal, and the crowd went crazy. It was good. And then my spring of my freshman year, I played 15 AAA, and we had like a 40-win season, won the state title. And then, that was the freshman year. And then my sophomore year, I started playing football. It was kind of like the true first year of football, my first like 2-a-day experience. And we had a good year. I ended up dressing for the varsity games. We went to the section title, lost to St. Thomas. And so then my sophomore winter, I played the majority JV and varsity, got my first letter. That was cool. Played with a lot of kids that I mean, I guess I could say like I dreamed of playing with. I always looked up to him. And then my sophomore spring, I played baseball. I was the catcher. We had a best team in a long time. I think we took second in the conference, lost out in sections, but we have big expectations for this upcoming year.
For sure. 11th grade football, let's hit that too. That just ended here. We're kind of in the transition between, the fall sport and the winter season too. So let's hear about 11th grade football, and then we'll just kind of preview the 11th grade year for the rest of the sports too.
So 11th grade football, it was my second year of varsity football, I guess you could say. I won the starting job in camp, played a little defense, mostly played offense, played center. We battled a lot, lost a couple dudes, injuries. It was kind of a tough season for that. But we battled a lot, started 1-3, got to 3-3, ended 4-4, then sadly got upset at home to my mom's school, which anyone but them. So my poor mom got tough day for her the next day, but we got through it, and now it's a hockey season. I'd say that's probably my favorite thing. It's what I put most of my time into, and we just started yesterday. So
for sure. So we're just like you just said, we're entering your 11th grade hockey year. We're in the fall. We're in the winter season right now. So give us a little preview, maybe some goals for you personally, maybe goals from the team with hockey, and then, like I said, maybe same thing you talked about. We had a monster baseball team last year. Had a great season. Maybe didn't reach our goals that you guys wanted to. So once again, let's preview that 11th grade baseball season as well here. So starting off with hockey, previewing that, and then baseball.
So like I said, hockey started Monday. It was good to get back on the ice with the boys. I think we're gonna have a solid team. Lost a lot, but I think we're a really tight group, and we'll play together more than anything. So I think that'll win us a lot of games. Personally, I hope to just play well. I mean, obviously I want to go all conference, maybe all section, but as long as the team does well, I'll probably end up being happy. And then baseball, I'm hoping that we have a monster year. We have big goals. A lot of us are talking about going to play at Target Field, and I think that'd be a dream come true if we made it that far. But I think we can do it. We return 9 people that started and made a difference, so it'll be good for us.
For sure. So Mr. Hansen is our AD here at Hastings High School, and the one thing he always likes to talk to us coaches about is why we coach. So in this kind of interview, we like turning that around on our athletes here and asking you guys why you play sports. So what is one of the main reasons why you play sports, John?
Well, I love to perform in front of our community. We always get good crowds for everything we do. And then I like being a role model to the younger kids. I just think that's really cool, because when I was younger, I would always look up to the high school athletes, and I don't know, I just thought that they were the greatest athletes of all time, and they were all going to the league. But yeah, I just think it's cool to kind of be in that light, and I've waited a long time to be that guy, and I think it's finally coming. And I also just love competing with the boys that I've grown up with my whole entire life. And I mean, we train in the summers and in the off season, and just feels good to when it succeeds.
For sure. I always ask these next 2 questions kind of back to back, and they sometimes get a little confusing. So if you could come up with multiple examples for us, that'd be great. So the first one, I'll ask the first one, and then let's get an answer, and then I'll ask the second one. So if we could come up with a couple different things, like I said, that'd be great. So the first one is a rewarding experience so far as a Raider athlete. So what do you think that rewarding experience so far has been for you?
I gotta say, just noticing the community, and little kids, giving high fives on the way out of the tunnel, for hockey and football, and yeah, just stuff like that, where people know who you are, and especially if it's in a positive light, it's just rewarding to go to bed knowing that you're making a difference in someone else's life.
For sure. The next one kind of similar, but once again, if you could come up with something different, that'd be great. Or if you want to expand on that last answer, that'd be cool too. So what do you think your favorite moment has been so far as a Raider athlete?
So I got a couple. Beating Mott last year in hockey in front of I feel like the whole town was there. The homecoming football game this year where we played probably the best game of our year. Then we swept St. Thomas in baseball. It's always good to beat those guys. And then 12 AAA state championship, we got rings, and then 15 AAA state championship. We got a big roadside that says state champ on it. It's hanging in my room, probably always will be.
Yeah. So the St. Thomas game was pretty big too. And that kind of, as you mentioned earlier, that got you a share of the conference title. So talk about that game. I know that was a pretty special moment for you guys too. And maybe, I don't want to say a tipping point in your season, but maybe something that you guys really gelled at. And I always think we have those moments where I think we know we're good, but then we see it and we actually realize that our teams are pretty good. So I think that maybe was a moment for you guys. So just walk through that experience too. And like I said, that was a pretty big moment for you guys.
So the Friday before, we actually got swept by Montemita. I mean, none of the games were really close. We just didn't play well. And our coach, Ryan Stoffel, he said, I'll take 2 losses against Montemita if we go sweep St. Thomas on Monday. And we went in. We were facing a Ohio State commit. He actually decommitted and is now committed to Duke. But, we battled. It was I think we gave up a 3-run home run in the first inning. We were down 3-0, and it was just kind of this is you prove it game almost. There's scouts in the stands. Prep baseball report was there, and it was just kind of what are you gonna do now? And we ended up coming back. I think we won 5-3 the second game, and then we might have 10-run them the first game we beat them 7-3, and then we might have 10-run them the second game. And it was just kind of wow, no one really thought we were good. And then the rankings came out the next week, and it's this Hastings team, they're pretty legit for the most part. So that felt good.
Nice. Another thing that Mr. Hansen always likes to ask us coaches is about success and how we define success. So once again, turning that around on you, John, how would you define success when it comes to sports for you?
Growing as a person, and a player, during the season. And then obviously winning. I compete to win. So if it's a losing season, I wouldn't say it's that successful.
Right on. You've talked about playing football, hockey, baseball. So you've played up for a lot of different people, especially growing up too. You've had a lot of different coaches in your life. So I always say that these next 2 questions are pretty impossible. And there's multiple ways that you could define them as well. So looking back at your career, John, if you could come up with maybe a best coach, someone that's really had a big impact on your life, and if you want to name a couple people because you played a couple different sports, that's okay too. So who do you think that best coach is in your life?
So my first one is Ben Tharp. He, I just met him last year, and he's just a great guy. He's super experienced. He's helped me grow as a hockey player and a person. And he just made me realize how lucky I am and how good I have it to play in front of this town. And and then another one is Derek Pfeffer. He's one of my baseball coaches. He's completely changed my game, made me play with confidence. And I had one of the best years of my life 2 summers ago, and it was all due to him. And then probably the biggest one is my dad. He's coached me all the way up, put in countless hours in the cages, at the rink, just pushing me to be my best. And nothing would be possible without him. So, yeah.
I love it. The next one, kind of similar, but now the guys that you're playing with. So I always come up with a bunch of different ways that we could define the best teammate. And I always think about that, maybe that older athlete that we really look up to. And you kind of mentioned this too, those athletes that you grew up with watching, those people that you're really trying to model behaviors after. I always think about the people that are kind of right next to us, maybe vying for the same spot, that are always kind of pushing us and pushing us up the ladder here and excelling our own game. You could also define it as, a kid that is someone that you could always turn to. You're having a hard time, a shoulder to cry on, someone like that too. So who do you think that best teammate is in your life? And once again, John, you're a multi-sport athlete. You could come up with a couple different people too.
So my first one is definitely my brother. I mean, it's from everything to wrestling in the living room to hitting in the cages to skating on the outdoor rink. I mean, he did it all with me, and he's probably the hardest working kid I know. And then Connor Stoffel, I grew up with him. He was 5 doors down. He's always pushed me to be my best, and he's always been kind of like the guy I looked up to besides my brother. He just I don't know, he's just a great role model. He's hardworking, and it's paid off for him. He's playing juniors right now. Then I got Blake Vandehoff. He's probably my best friend. I do literally everything with him. I mean, there was a streak in the summer. I think it was like 60 days in a row we saw each other. And it's just, I don't know, it's like hard to put to words, but like what he does for me, like he pushes me, holds me accountable. I mean, I don't even know. And then Alex Hendrickson, he's another one of my really good friends. He's an unbelievable baseball player. He's going to go somewhere big. I just know it. He's like, I don't know, he just hardest worker in the room, does nothing wrong, it seems like. So it just makes me a better person. And yeah, without him, I'd probably be, I don't know.
No, I agree. All those people are great people. So you kind of already talked about this one too, but we can expand it for a couple different sports too. So I always like this one, especially when we interview our alumni. It's kind of fun to hear about how different rivalries have changed and how different sports kind of look at other teams and see who their big rivalry is. So who is maybe the biggest rivalry for you? And once again, you're a multi-sport athlete. You could come up with a couple different teams. This could also be an event. So an event you always look forward to every single year. So who do you think that is in your life?
There's nothing I love more than like St. Thomas Week.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's just like, it's like the biggest game of the year for us. And it's like a good test. And then Park, I train with a bunch of those boys like in the off season, and I'm already talking to them about the hockey game February 7th. Owen Corkish texted me earlier, said you guys are done February 7th. And I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of hype surrounding that. They show up to our place, we show up to their place. It's usually pretty packed, and yeah, it's just nothing better than beating Park.
I love it. Last couple questions then for you, Johnny. And these are just pieces of advice from your experiences to coaches, parents, and student athletes. So we'll start off with parents and coaches. Looking back on your career, you're talking once again to parents and coaches. Give them a couple pieces of advice from your experiences.
I just say push us hard. Like, most of us can handle it. And I mean, if you really want your kid or your player to be the best they can be, you got to push us. And then, I just have trust in your players. Like, they're going to obviously do their best, and just got to trust that they're going to perform when the spotlight's on.
For sure. Now you're talking to those student athletes, and this could be people that are in the high school with you right now, or this could be those younger student athletes that are going to be kind of coming up and that are watching you right now from the stands. So if you could talk to them, give them a couple pieces of advice from your experience, what would it be and why?
I'd just say fear nothing. Like, nerves are good, but like, fear nothing, because if you want to do it, it's there for you. Don't be scared of failing. Like, everyone's gonna fail, so just get the job done. And then just soak up playing in front of like this community, because I mean, there's like really no one supports like the athletics better than Hastings does.
For sure. The last thing we always do then, John, is just turn the microphone over to our guest. So this is the time for you to give any shout outs you want, talk about anything else, get anything else off your chest, any questions I forgot to ask you. Like I said, the microphone is yours and you can go for it.
I don't know. I don't got a whole lot. I can promise a win against Park this year in hockey. That's about it. Maybe I can promise you that the baseball team's going to Target Field too.
All right. I love it. Thanks, John.
Yep.